Bobby with HLSupply, bringing you more epic videos. Today we're replacing a 13 horsepower clone generator. Most Honda parts will fit these, and we're going to replace the carburetor today. So to get started, you've got to access the air filter cover here. Couple clips come undone, and it removes. Set this to the side. We're going to take out the air filters. And what you'll notice is there's several nuts that you need to take loose. There we go. And now there's two more nuts we're going to access here. We're removing the nuts. You want the fuel cock in the off position. There's also a nut on the back side right here behind this little lip that needs to be removed for this to come off. Okay, we've got the breather hose now that we have access to the back of the air filter box, and you're going to take your pliers and squeeze the little clamp on the breather hose. That allows you to remove it. Now we have access to the carburetor. We will pop off the first gasket here. You can actually see this gasket is broken. So the first thing we're going to do here, now that we have access to the carburetor, is we're going to disconnect the solenoid wires. Right over here is the little clamp, and now that you have access to it, we've removed the clamp, the little wire harness. They just unplug. Now the solenoid is disconnected. Pull this through. Now we have access to the carburetor. Solenoid is not attached. Next, we're going to disconnect the fuel line. Now be ready, because some fuel might come out even though it's in the off position. Pliers. Okay. And you slide the fuel hose off. There's a little bit of our fuel. Need to disconnect the throttle spring and disconnect the governor rod. And we can slide the carburetor off to get started. That puts us at an easier angle to remove the spring. Spring is removed. And what we've just done is disconnected our generator carburetor. Now we're going to replace it with a new one. What we discovered after removing the carburetor is the gasket was bad, so it's actually falling apart in my hands. So we're going to go ahead and completely remove it, and then we'll replace that while we're here. Now that we've got it clean, we're going to replace our gasket. Now we've got our gasket on, and we've got our replacement carburetor, and we're just basically going to do the process in reverse. Spring, governor rod. It's important to remember how you take it off, so then you have an easy time putting it back on. What we're going to do next is go ahead and reroute our solenoid cable back through to where we can reconnect that. Now we've connected that, we're going to reconnect our fuel hose. Now that the fuel hose is reconnected, clamp has been slid down on it, we're ready to go to the next step. Before we reattach the air filter plate here with this bolt, we're going to attach the air filter breather tube. There's two, remember, that we have to attach. One has a clamp, and this one just slides through. We're going to take our extension and tighten up the nut on the back. Now we're putting the carburetor mounting nuts on. Next, we're going to replace the air filter housing plate. Again, just lines up over the bolts. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nuts to go, and we're done. The more dense filter will be placed in first. The other on top of that. They sit in place. Thank you for joining us today. In the project we took on, you learned 1, how to replace your air filters. Actually, if you wanted to replace the housing, also your gaskets. We learned how to also replace your carburetor. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, HLSupply, and check out our website for specials and promotions and deal of the days, hlsupply.com.
Are you Bobby? I just saw your video. That was sick. That was epic.